Coors.
Your Rocks.
Right field bar. Oh! Hello and welcome to the team profile and projection for your Colorado Rockies. Finished 61-101 last year. Good for last place in the NOS. Only 37 games back. They were good in extra innings, 8-4. Let's see if they can replicate that. They were also good in one-run games. That's making me scared. They were 26-21. That was ninth best in one-run games last year. They were last in one stat, runs allowed per game. And after being ranked 29th last year, they are ranked 29th this year. So, Trev, who'd they bring in?
Are these still your Rocks?
I don't know. Kelsey kind of impeded, and now we're in flux.
We're in flux right now. Okay, I can tell you who they added, though. Young Prince Tyro Estrada,
Yep.
Your guy. 1 year, $4 million this year. Mutual option for 2026. My guy, my best friend, Kyle Farmer.
Yeah.
1 year, 3.25. Another mutual option in 2026. Utility man, Owen Miller in a trade that he came over from the Brewers for cash. Jimmy Herget. Got him from waivers from Atlanta. Jake Woodford on a minor league deal. Nick Martini, Keston Hiura. Let's go.
Yeah.
Getting back. He was a big prospect at one point. Austin Nola and relief pitcher Diego Castillo. They also re-signed catcher Jacob Stallings to a 1 year, $2.5 million deal. He's like Lurch back there. Big boy.
Huge.
Kind of like him a lot. Jake, that's who they added. Who'd they lose?
We lost. Man, if these are our Rocks or not, Jake Cave went over to the KBO. Pete Lambert went to the NPB. This is a bad sign for the Rocks a little bit. They also lost some arms. Dakota Hudson got outrighted. Cal Quantrill non-tendered, which he was kind of productive for them last year, along with Brendan Rodgers, another big prospect who had some ups and downs with them. Daniel Bard gone, and Charlie Blackman retired. That's, man, he's
still there, though. He's got a new role.
He's still there, but it is going to be interesting to see not that beard coming up in the top of that Rockies lineup. And speaking of, Coach, I'll say this, there's some juice in the lineup.
I don't hate the lineup, Coach. I say that for a lot of teams, but I mean it with the Rocks. Again, this is a lineup projected by Fangraphs. Brenton Doyle, who, he's had his breakout already. We knew about the glove. Offense came around last year as well. Ezekiel Tovar, who is a stud. Willie Adames Light, can I call him that? Is that okay?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I think he'd be okay with
Maybe.
that. Yeah, he'd be fine with that.
He'd love that.
Talk to Willie about that.
Yeah.
Your guy, Ryan McMahon, at third base. We'll see kind of how long that lasts. You wanted him for your Yanks. Never happened. Chris Bryant, just looking for a little bit of Chris Bryant in Chris Bryant. That would go a long way for the Rocks. Michael Toglia at first base. Nolan Jones looking for a bounce back season. I remember Kelsey introduced me to him at the end of 2023, and she's like, "This is the guy." And I was like, "Yeah, he is the guy." I believe at the time he was going for a 2020 season. Difficult year last year. Had some injuries, looking for bounce back. Young Prince at second base. Tyro. Sam Hilliard out in right field, and the catcher Jacob Stallings on the bench. Jordan Beck, Kyle Farmer, Hunter Goodman, who's a catcher outfielder. So I'm in on that guy.
Right.
I'm in.
Right.
Anybody with a catcher dash next to his name, I'm in on. And also Greg Jones. Some names to watch. I should have looked at the pronunciation key. Adiel Amador, Nick Martini, Owen Miller, Drew Romo, and Zach Veen. Jake, what about that rotation and bullpen?
So this has been the problem over the years, although there's a couple guys that go back to the Rockies' kind of wild card contending days. Herman Marquez should be back in, hopefully a healthy full season. Kyle Freeland got the Rockies on his arm. Ryan Feltner put up some stats last year. Antonio Senzatella, he's back. Okay. And Austin Gomber. There should be some names helping out. Bradley Blaylock, Anthony Molina. Again, we've got another roles to be decided bullpen, which is a little scary, although Tyler Kinley is the favorite to be the closer and has thrown some good major league innings. And then there's some guys, at least I felt like some of the bodies coming out of the Rockies bullpen had a chance. Victor Vodnik, Seth Halverson, Luis Peralta, Angel Chivilli. Hopefully Justin Lawrence can bounce back from that arm angle. And Jake Show Me Your Bird, Jimmy Herget, a couple other bodies as the Colorado Rockies try to transform their pitching. And you can transform your baseball watching experience with DirecTV Rewind. Make sure you guys go to directtv.com and learn more about them like we're about to learn about this Rockies team. Trev, I'll kick off to start.
Okay.
Because like you said, if this was a tier list, that's what the kids like. I think we've jumped up a tier.
After one team.
I think we've jumped up a tier after the White Sox. That's the good news, because there's a couple guys you can dream on in this lineup. Like Michael Tolia hit some homers last year. Brenton Doyle did it on both sides. Zeke Tovar with the young shortstops in the game. And Ryan McMahon has been consistent that, I don't know, the Rockies are always going to have a little bit of hitting, and it feels like there's some guys you can tune in day in, day out and be like, yeah, that's a ball player.
100%. I mean, they have guys there. Is it going to be enough to win games in what is probably, one of the best divisions in all of baseball? Obviously has the best team in baseball in it. That's to be seen. It's funny you mentioned the bullpen. And I have the same feeling in my head. Like there's some guys that have a chance in the bullpen, like some funky arm angles, some velo, some nasty stuff. But then you look at this 2024 rankings, and I've never seen a worse pitching staff rankings list.
Yeah.
Starting pitchers last year, 30th in ERA, 30th in WHIP. Relief pitchers, 30th in ERA, 30th in WHIP. I get that they play at Coors Field. I understand that. But Ks per 9/30th, hits per 9/30th, homers per 9/30th. It is. I've never seen anything like that. So that is we've talked about that quite a bit, Jake, on the show. Like, what would you do if you're the Rocks GM? You'd find anybody that has success and try to sign them, or completely go off script and figure something out. And it has not come to fruition on the offensive side and the defensive side. Yeah, they found some guys. I remember Kels telling me about Tovar. Watch this guy play. I love watching him. I think that he's improved immensely. Had a great year last year. Brenton Doyle, again, we knew what he could do with the glove, but offensively, he went there last year. And I remember Adael getting called up last year. I believe I don't know if I was there for his debut or what it was, but I know they're high on him. He did not have a great year last year. He's 21 years old. You pair him up the middle with Tovar, and I can see that happening. I think the biggest X factor here, if you're talking about can this team be a threat offensively, is Nolan Jones, though. I mean, he's a potential 30-30 guy, big boy, good-looking dude, and just didn't get it going last year because of some injuries. So I think that is, if you're a Rockies fan, you can have some hope in this offense. I think you can look at it and be, all right, man, like I can see this working, but the pitching staff has to do whatever it takes to keep up, Jake. And I'm not sure I see that right now.
It's such a mental hurdle, man. I can't imagine, over this offseason, we've talked about like, it's kind of tough for Toronto to sign some guys sometimes. Like, if you're a free agent starting pitcher, Colorado doesn't even, you don't let your agent talk about it. That I can't imagine being a young player and like, okay, so this is the team I got drafted with, so I'm going to have to pitch here, and a pitcher's never had success here, really? Like, it's daunting, and I can't believe that the Colorado Rockies haven't tried more unique, different things to try to adapt, because the thing with sports is it's supposed to be fair, and the other team is playing in that altitude as well, that there's got to be more things that can work. And either way, they're a couple steps away from that. And you're right, Nolan Jones, I mean, in that rookie year, a 931 OPS, 2020 in like 103 games. He obviously had an injury-riddled year. Can he bounce back? Absolutely. Tovar and Doyle are both four-WAR players that I think could take a step up. And when you're talking about center field and shortstop, like, that matters. Like, strength up the middle. Ask your guy Ron Gardenhire. That's how a baseball team's built. And then, like, you sprinkle in these other pieces. McMahon has been Ryan McMahon for a few years now. Does Tolia have more in his bat? That would make him like an 800 OPS guy. Like, you're starting to check some boxes that you mentioned Amador that, I don't know, I guess for the White Sox, we couldn't even point to a ton of guys that it can happen. The Rockies have guys that it can happen for, and that's exciting on the offensive end. And I guess on the pitching end, you know, German Marquez coming back healthy. He's had some success at Coors Field. Same with Freeland. It feels like he's been hunting for a few years now, and it's so tough to judge these guys on their numbers because, like, Kyle Freeland had 1 WAR with a 5.24 ERA because they're just playing an uphill battle at that stadium. But for me, it comes back to so is the other team. So I don't know. I mean, does Chris Bryant have any juice left, Trev? Like,
I hope he does. It doesn't. I mean, it seems like for him it has fallen off very quickly. But you're talking. We were just talking about park factor, or you were alluding to it at least, and you just expect him to one day wake up and figure it out. It just has not happened. Again, I said if Nolan Jones comes back, that's a massive plus. And if Chris Bryant gives them literally anything, we're talking about a significant improvement. There's a couple pitching prospects on the way. Might mess this guy's name up. Dolander, Chase.
Sure.
1 season in the minor leagues, pitched to a 3. He's a guy that pitched in the SEC. We'll see how he does. Carson Palmquist, another guy that might arrive this year for them. Will they have success? I don't know. I'm going to throw a question out to you right now.
Sure.
Though. So, park factor. When you look it up on Baseball Savant, it's like a rolling 3-year thing. It's not just 1 year because that could change with who's pitching and whatever. So, Coors Field is the best hitters park by far, and we're looking at this team, and they've had the highest ERA, highest WHIP, all these things. It's tough to pitch there. We know that.
Yeah.
Number 1 park to pitch at is Seattle. If you put Seattle starting rotation, who we all just drool over, oh my gosh, they're so good. These guys are incredible. And I think they are, but my head is now spinning. Put them in Colorado. What kind of pitchers are they?
Right.
That discrepancy is scary to me. Like, that makes me think, like, can they put a freaking dome on the place, and does that change anything? I don't know physics like that.
Right. Light physics, but not physics like that.
I'm just saying, if you put a dome and did something can you even it out? Because you're right, dude. What will it take for them to get on track and for them to have a pitcher and a pitching staff that can tolerate the elements?
And hey, Rockies fans, you guys know your team better than me. I was lucky enough to live in beautiful Denver for a couple years, and I got to appreciate some Rockies baseball. But Trev, I guess what makes me feel like I don't hold a lot of anger in me. I'm actually kind of weird. Sometimes my showers get angry, but like I just keep it in there. But like, how do we not know? How do we not know? Let's say it drops today. The Colorado Rockies traded Zeke Tovar for Logan Gilbert. I'd
love to see it.
Would Logan Gilbert be good? Because I think Logan Gilbert's a very good pitcher. Would it work? I guess the part that then makes me mad is they've never, like, tried anything. They've never, like, okay, we can get hitting, so why don't we trade for pitching? Or our outfield's massive. Why don't we have elite defenders everywhere and try to win however we can win? Like, it really gets to me. And the other thing that gets to me is they've allowed the most runs per game over the last 3 seasons.
Last time they made the playoffs was 2018. So I went back. I'm like, okay, who are the pitchers? You mentioned some of them. They're still with the team. Kyle Freeland that year had a 7.7 WAR.
Yeah.
Pitched to a 2.85 there. Cy Young 4. German Marquez pitched to a 3.77. He had a 4 WAR. After that, it was like, yeah, Tyler Anderson 4.5, John Gray 5.1, Chad Bettis, nice, 5 ERA. You only need a couple. They also had a great offense back then. We're talking Trevor Story. We're talking who was it? Ian Desmond. We're talking Arenado. Like there was Charlie Blackmon was going off. So like there were some people there, but you only need a couple.
Right.
At the top of the rotation. They won 91 games that year. I don't know. I don't know really where we're going with this. It just seems like you mentioned it's just difficult to get guys to go there as free agents, especially pitchers. So you really have to develop well and hope you hit. And maybe some of the guys I mentioned earlier will come up and prove to be those guys. Because like the offensive core it can be there.
Right.
I don't know if we're looking at an Arenado, Trevor Story type core, but like you got some guys there that you can bank on.
Yeah, and that's again referencing that old Colorado Rockies team, like you mentioned, it's a lot of ball players there. And that's probably the end of the discussion for me. Is like you need good ball players. You're gonna have to find some pitching in different corners, however you do that. Do I think that there's different ways to do this? Yes, but the future of the Colorado Rockies and what fans are going to be watching for is where can Ezekiel Tovar land? Where can Brenton Doyle land? Where can Tolia land? Where can Nolan Jones land? And then around that, Tyro Strada for a year at Coors Field, can that get you something at the deadline? I feel like Sam Hilliard has been a science experiment for a couple teams. Can he go? Trev, if you look at Jacob Stallings' offensive stats last year, you'll get a little jealous. 810 OPS for the big man back there. I don't know. It's there's times at that ballpark when you're just like, is this real baseball? You look at the last 4 innings and it's like, well, that was a 3, that was a 1, that was a 1, that was a 4, and you're just like, I don't know. And it makes me sad because having lived in Denver, it's a sports town, man.
Oh, yeah. They show up for those games, man, no matter what.
Because everyone's like, oh, it's a football town. They love those Broncos. The Broncos were sneaky one of the best franchises in the NFL for a while. Know what team that Nuggets fans, well, I spoiled it. They love the Denver Nuggets because the Nuggets are good now. The Nuggets were bad for so long. The people of Denver and Colorado, they like baseball. They like sports. That I feel bad because it feels like they have both hands tied behind their back, and I don't know if it goes to ownership. I don't know if it goes to, the field and the altitude is a factor, but it feels like there's something that they can tap into, but I don't know. I'm just hoping to get hired as a special advisor there during my retirement years.
They might need you because the attendance has gone down. For a long time, they were a top 10 attendance team in baseball. 2019, 2021, 2022, and then it started the dip. They're more middle of the pack. And if they have another couple of years like they've had, they'll continue to slide, and maybe that forces ownership's hand. Not like they haven't went out and got free agents. The ones they've gotten just really haven't performed. I mean, I'm thinking, who was the other guy that came over there? Ian Desmond.
Sure.
Don't think that was a great signing by them. Chris Bryant obviously hasn't been good. We know about Nolan Arenado and that whole thing. And I don't know. I don't really know what to say, man. I'm banking on some offensive output. Hopefully some pitchers can figure it out. It's going to be a daunting task to be anywhere close to that division or even a wild card, for being honest.
Right. I mean, you try to dream upon a dream, and again, we've talked about the guys in the lineup. Hopefully there's some pitchers that can come up. And like you said, Kyle Freeland wasn't a top prospect, but he came in and he figured some stuff out for a little bit. And maybe that can be a Chase Dollander. It could be someone else who gets an opportunity because they got to figure something out. And I think you're going to see some guys in that lineup put together good offensive seasons. It felt like it used to be, again, those 2017, 2018, like the Rockies had something there for a couple years that was a really good product. And when you just look at the past couple years, it's been the the most runs allowed. The record's gotten worse the past 3 seasons. And with what the other teams are doing in the division, like Dalton, who puts together our stat page for us, can the Rockies win 75-plus games for the first time since 2018? 2025. 75 wins? And, a little teaser, their DraftKings over-under is not 75. But you guys should still head on over to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The NBA season is underway. And with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook, there's all sorts of ways to get in on the action. Right now, all new customers who bet $5 will get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you use the code Talkin. From Monster Slams, dishing the rock, cleaning the glass, get behind your favorite players and the prop bets that you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use code Talkin. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Talkin only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. What's our under-over, Coach?
DraftKings has it at 60.5. I got my answer.
You have it.
60.5. Tough division, Coach.
Where'd we land last year? 60.5. 60.5.
Last year, the record 61. Of the Colorado Rockies was 61-101.
So do I think they will be the same or better this year? All right, I have my answer.
3, 2, 1.
Under.
Over.
Okay. Please.
I think I have the White Sox winning over 60 games. I think. Maybe not.
Right.
But I think maybe I have like 55 games. I think the Rockies are 6 games better than the White Sox. A little bump in any sort of pitching statistic in any category will help them immensely. I understand the division they're in. It's a little bit more evenly spread out the games now. We mentioned that from time to time. Nolan Jones being back and healthy would really work. Amador, if he can kind of figure it out as a young kid, that would help a lot. Chris Bryant, show me something, man. Don't ride off into the sunset. Like, come on, man. Like, rally the troops or something. I don't know. I just have a hard time thinking about this team. Losing 100 games is hard to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going over.
Yeah, I just
don't be trading those guys either, because then that'll make me mad.
I just don't know. The 1-run games being 26-21, that kind of threw me off. It can happen. I'll tell you what. I think DraftKings made a great line. They were 59 wins 2 years ago. They were 61 last year. That I don't know. It's sad that a division that we've given a ton of attention to, the Dodgers. Like the Padres were the star of the sport for a little bit. Now the Dodgers are the star of the sport. The Snakes went to the World Series. And the San Francisco Giants, like they've been trying to get invited to the dance. And now like they might be that the Rockies are they're in the abyss right now. And I feel for Rocky fans because they're great sports fans. Luckily they live in a beautiful place. So if that 4th inning is ugly, go for a walk around outside. But I don't know. I hope we're talking about the young talent on the Rockies this year because there are a lot of names that we got to name. But man, Coach, what'd you find?
I want to see if there's an outlier. I might change my mind. Hold on.
Okay.
If they were decent against the NL West last year, I might change my mind. 3-10 against the Dodgers, so bad. That's going to be, they were 8-5 against the Padres last year, which, you know what? Padres might sell it all, bro.
Right.
Arizona, they were 4-9. Okay. San Francisco, 3-10. Okay, I'm good. I'm keeping my over.
Trev's going over. I'm going under. Let us know where you land. And, hey, let's get excited for some Rockies baseball this year. We appreciate you guys. Make sure, if you're ready to transform your baseball watching experience, head to directtv.com to learn more. And we will be back with the 28th ranked baseball team.